this is One Sassy Zebra here, and we are going to make a smoky coconut and butternut squash soup with red lentils. It is delicious. If anybody's had their Panera butternut squash soup, this is kind of close. Anyways, okay, so I did a little mise en place here, and I chopped up half a bunch of cilantro. And it's just a rough chop here, and it's for the garnish. And I also chopped up, this is just diced up carrots. Now, it doesn't matter, and it's 2 carrots here, and it doesn't matter how you chop up the carrots. It's all going to be blended up in the soup, so it doesn't matter. And this is just 1 onion, rough chopped. And along with the carrots, doesn't matter how you chop up the onion, it is going to be pureed up in the soup, so doesn't matter. And then we got 3 pears. I'm using red pears, but you can use any pears you have on hand, and this is just rough diced here. And I have them sitting in water so they don't brown up here, just to make them look pretty, but it doesn't matter if it browns on you. It's just going to be pureed in the soup. Doesn't affect the taste. And then I have my lentils. Now this is already cooked up, and when you cook the lentils, this is about 1/2 cup of lentils, and you're going to cook it in about 1.5 cups of water for about 15 minutes. And you can cook it in your rice cooker or the Instapot on the saute function. And like I said, it takes about 15 minutes, and then all you have to do is drain it. And yeah, and that's all you have to do to cook your red lentils. So yeah, this is already pre-cooked red lentils right here. And you can find that at any supermarket. So, and here is my butternut squash. This is peeled and already cubed up here. So that's why it looks like that and not in the whole form. And try to keep the cubes pretty uniform. Otherwise, if you're sauteing this and not using the pressure cooker feature, it's just easier to puree up. So okay, and next we are moving on to the coconut milk. I'm using coconut cream. You can use canned coconut milk. I'm using 1 can, and it's 14 ounces. So you can pick up the coconut milk at any supermarket here. If you do not have canned coconut milk, you can use just regular coconut milk. I'll show you here in a second. And you would use about 1 pint or 2 cups. You can use a little bit more or a little bit less depending upon how much butternut squash that you have, or how much soup that you're making, so how much liquid that you're going to need. So you can use any brand of coconut milk that you have. This is just what I happen to have on hand. So and I will be showing you the other alternative here in just 1 second. So yeah, like I said, this is coconut cream, and you can use coconut milk. The coconut cream just adds a little bit more fat, and this is the coconut milk I was talking about. This is so delicious, and Silk also makes a brand that is really good too. If you're going to be using coconut milk, add about 2 cups. The cans of coconut milk were about 14 ounces. So, and I used 1 can. The next thing you're going to need is vegetable stock. I didn't have any on hand. If you do have vegetable stock on hand, you're going to need 1 pint or 2 cups. I have veggie base. This does not have any garlic in it. You will need about 1 tablespoon of veggie base to 1 pint of water, or 2 cups. So if you don't have any vegetable stock on hand either, like me, just go ahead and use veggie base. That is totally acceptable, and you will need 1 tablespoon to 2 cups of water. So any veggie base works. And this is the brand I like because it does not have any garlic in it. So that is nice. But if you're not allergic to garlic, just use any veggie base that you like. And then the next thing, this is the red lentils that are in the uncooked form, in case you didn't know what red lentils look like. So next thing, my salt and pepper grinder. That you're going to need salt and pepper in this recipe. And then ginger. I like my ginger juice, And if you have fresh ginger, go ahead and add a tablespoon of fresh ginger. In the ginger juice form, you'll need about a teaspoon of ginger, or ginger powder, you'll need about a teaspoon of ginger powder. So in either form, I gave you the amounts. And if you like a little more ginger flavor, you can add more. It's just to taste. And then coriander. You'll need about a half of a teaspoon of coriander. I really like coriander, but it is strong flavor, so just be aware. And then onion powder. This is kind of to taste. I can't have garlic, so you'll need about half of a tablespoon of onion powder. If you can have garlic, you can use about 2 cloves of garlic in this recipe. So paprika. This is a smoked sweet paprika. I like to use about 1 tablespoon of paprika. If you want it extra smoky, you can add more. But I use about 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. And if you like it spicy, you can add the hot smoked paprika, and that makes it good. I've done either way in this recipe. That's really good. And then I also saved the seeds from the butternut squash. I like to use every part that I can, and I went ahead and shelled them and also toasted them, and then sprinkled on my smoked paprika and a little salt, a little pepper, and then just sprayed them with a little bit of avocado oil, and just toasted them. And that's going to be my garnish on top, along with the chopped cilantro. And that is going to make it really good. So you certainly don't have to use that if you don't have the time to make it. So, but that's kind of like what I like to garnish with. So, okay. So now we are going to start. So I'm just going to start by spraying my pan with some nonstick cooking spray. What I have today is my avocado oil. And I like avocado oil or coconut oil. It has a really nice monounsaturated fats. So that's kind of what I like to cook with. And then here goes my onion, my 1 onion. Now you don't have to brown your vegetables with this. I just like to cook it to a translucent state. So you don't have to brown them. If you have the time to brown them, that makes a really nice golden delicious back note. And then what's even really good, you can even roast them in your oven before throwing them in. Here goes the carrots. That's my 2 carrots. So yeah, if you have the time, you can even roast them in your oven, all the vegetables. That's really good, nice caramelization. But this is really good for those Instant Pot cookers and the people that are in the truck. That's what I'm trying to show you guys, is there is so much stuff you can do in the Instant Pot. And that's what I love about this Instant Pot. And I was a truck driver for so many years, and I did so many things in this Instant Pot. So now I'm going to put all my seasonings in here. And this is a really good time to throw them all in, is when you're cooking your vegetables. And so here goes the onion powder. Okay. And so we're going to throw that onion powder in, and that's, like I said, about half of a tablespoon of onion powder. And then we got my 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. And like I said, you can use hot smoked paprika or just a sweet paprika. I tend to use the sweet paprika for this recipe because you got so many sweet flavors with the butternut squash and the carrots and the ginger. I really like the sweet paprika for this. It's just a nice fall recipe. You can even throw in a little cinnamon too if you want. It marries well with the coconut milk and everything. Okay, and next you're going to be throwing in the coriander, and that's about half of a teaspoon. And I'm just giving guidelines here. You can always add more seasonings or less seasonings if you don't like a particular flavor. And next goes in the ginger. And like I said, if you got fresh ginger, you're going to add a little bit more. You're going to add about a tablespoon of chopped fresh ginger, or about a teaspoon of ginger juice, or about a teaspoon of ginger powder. And the reason why you add less of the ginger powder or the ginger juice, because it's a concentrated flavor. Whereas the fresh stuff is a little less pungent. And same with, like, if you were going to add garlic to this recipe, if it was a fresh garlic, you would add more. You would say add about a tablespoon of garlic as opposed to a teaspoon of garlic powder. So just a heads up. So now I'm going to stir and mix all those flavors together. And now you want to finish by adding some salt and pepper. Now, if you're going to be working with bases, like I said, I'm using a vegetable base instead of my own veggie stock. Just be aware that commercial vegetable bases have a lot of salt in them. So you don't want to add too much salt in the beginning because you can't take away that salt. So I didn't add too much salt to start with. You just add a little bit to bring out the sweetness in the vegetables. And then I added a lot of pepper. So yeah, you don't want to over salt. You can't take that away. So just stir that around. And I'm just going to be cooking this to a translucent state. I wish I had time to make all these vegetable stocks and chicken stocks and stuff, but unfortunately with my chronic illness and all, I don't. But I'm glad I have time to share all these recipes for you guys. Okay, the next thing that's going to go in is these pears. I'm going to drain the water. All I did to stop them from browning is just put in water with a little bit of lemon juice. Just a smidge. Okay, and then goes the pears, and this was 3 pears. And you can use any pears you want. What I had was these red pears. I absolutely love red pears in cooking. They're really good with pork or chicken, or even adding sweetness for soups and salad dressings and marinades. They're really multi-use here, especially in the fall time. Same with apples too, but it seems like the pears really get overlooked. Okay, I'm going to stir this around. And then the next thing I will be adding is my butternut squash. So in goes all of my butternut squash. So it's really important to kind of keep all the chunks about the same if you're going to be sauteing this. Now with the Instant Pot, you only have 30 minutes on the saute function. And if you guys don't know how to use a saute function, look at my other videos, and I will show you step by step how to turn on the saute function. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I put this on the saute normal. And if you guys don't know how to switch between the saute normal, high, low function on any of my other videos, I tell you step by step how to switch those. So just go to one of my other videos and I'll tell you step by step how to. But all you have to do is switch saute and then go to adjust, and it will show you. It'll just click over to low, normal, and high. So it's really simple. And if that isn't enough explanation, then just go to one of my other videos, and I will in depth show you how to do that. Okay, the next thing is going to be my vegetable base, and we are going to be adding about a tablespoon. Oh, you can see my pug in the video. You will be seeing him a lot. He loves to stay right next to me while I cook. This is what the vegetable base looks like, if in case you guys have never seen vegetable base, or any bases for that matter. It's a very wet base. Once you open these bases, they have to stay in the refrigerator. It's kind of a bummer for truck drivers that these bases have to take up room in the refrigerator, but the one nice thing is with these bases is it imparts so much flavor that it's really nice to have that, you don't have to carry around, vegetable stock and chicken stock and everything. So I do recommend at least having like one base, whether it's a chicken base or a vegetable base. I do recommend at least having one. So I would if you're only going to have one, I would either choose a vegetable base or a chicken base where it's really multi-purpose. So whatever your favorite is, I would choose at least one if you're a truck driver or an RVer. Because I know you only have a small fridge to be working with, and I know it takes up a lot of space. I wish they would put bigger fridges in those trucks, unfortunately. I would sacrifice cabinet space to have a bigger fridge. I would find more room to fit clothes. I would sacrifice clothing for food. Because I hate truck stop food. Okay, next thing after you get that all incorporated is the coconut milk, and I am throwing in my 14-ounce can of coconut cream, and like I said, you can use coconut milk. What I had on hand is the coconut cream. It's just a little bit fattier than coconut milk, and it's just going to be a little bit creamier texture. But you can certainly add coconut cream or soy milk or almond milk, whatever you prefer. This is kind of my favorite brand because this coconut cream is a thicker texture, especially when you're making soups or curries. I don't know if this brand is in Walmart, but it is at Asian stores. But at Walmart, I do know they carry coconut milk. But this is my favorite brand if you guys can find it, because it has a lot of nice coconut cream in there. And it makes for really nice coconut curries and soups. And it's non-dairy, which is great. It's all just coconut. And this whole recipe is vegan, which is a plus. Because I am allergic to dairy. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's one of my mom's dogs standing in the background too. Every time I cook, I get all the dogs in the kitchen. So you will be seeing a parade of dogs in the background. Okay, I will be adding 1 pint of water to this recipe. Now, I'm adding hot water. It's just easier to add hot water, but you can add cold water if hot water isn't available. It's just a little bit harder to incorporate everything together, but it just takes a little bit longer for your Instant Pot to heat everything up. So just keep that in mind. I'm just giving myself a head start to make this faster. Okay. So the next thing you're going to want to do is put the lid on, and I am going to show you how to line this up. So let me scoot this back a little bit here. So don't fill it past that max line. So that's what I was showing you. Okay, so these arrows, see these 2 arrows? You have to line them up. And then all you do is slide it closed. Really simple. And then make sure this thing is pointed all the way up. Otherwise, it won't lock and you won't create pressure. Okay, and what I like to do is make sure the saute is no longer on, it's off. And then I like to use the manual mode for pressure cooking. You can certainly keep sauteing it, but it just takes super long. So we're going to hit manual, and we're going to do it for 25 minutes. And then if you're not already on 25, you just adjust your time either up or down. And then it's going to click on, and you're going to hear this beep. And when you hear that beep, you know it's going to be on. So that's all you're going to do. And I will see you back after this thing pressure cooks for 25 minutes. Okay, now we are going to release the steam. Do not use your hand. This will burn you really bad. So I take a long utensil, and as you can see, the steam is releasing. I like to take something over the top, as I will show you. It gets really messy, but just keep holding this down. As you can see, it's spurting out the top. It gets super messy when you're working with soups and sauces. I like to use a paper towel and then just put something over the paper towel, especially when you're in the truck. Oh gosh, it becomes such a mess. Like spaghetti sauce. You do not want spaghetti sauce all over your cabinets. That is a big mess that you do not want to clean. So anytime you're working with really soupy things, or any greasy things, or just any saucy things when you're pressure cooking, just put like a paper towel or any towel over the top when you're releasing the steam, and that should be sufficient so you don't create a big stinking mess all over your truck or RV or even at home. You don't want a mess all over your cabinets or kitchen. And see, I just tuck a utensil in and just let it go. Okay, now we're back. That's fully released. If the little silver thing doesn't go down, it should only take about 5 minutes to release. Just kind of push it down with like a utensil. Sometimes it doesn't release on its own. It should take about 5 minutes. As you can see, it's nice and cooked. All right, I'm going to get out my hand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer, just use a blender, and we can blend this up. I love my KitchenAid hand mixer. It's so nice to have in the truck. We only needed about a 800 watt inverter to use this. So it's great to have. It's very portable. I like to use this with my soups, my marinades, any of my sauces. This is just so easy to have, and it's easy cleanup, easy to store. You don't need a lot of space. So it was really nice to keep in the truck. And I've had this thing for about 5-6 years, and it's never broke on me. Just make sure you don't pull it up too close to the top, otherwise you're going to make a big mess. Just keep it towards the bottom, and it's just really easy to do. Make sure you have the Instant Pot off when you do this. You don't want to have boiling spatters all over you. Okay, and then just click it open, and that's all you need to do. And you can easily just wash it off too. That's what I love about it. And as you can see, it's nice thin, well, it's not a thin puree, a nice thick puree. It's nice and smooth and delicious. And I will show you how I plated it up. Isn't this awesome? Yum. Okay, and here is this beautiful bowl of soup. Oh my gosh. Smoky coconut and butternut squash soup with red lentils. Isn't this beautiful? Oh my gosh. My mom and grandma are like, I want to eat this now. And I said, I gotta wait. I gotta video this and take pictures. Oh, they can smell it. Oh man, we all can't wait to dig in here. It's just beautiful. And I used that toasted butternut squash seeds, and I toasted it with the smoked paprika too. And then I used cilantro as the garnish. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. I cannot wait. So if you like, comment and share. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. One sassy zebra. Bye.